What is going on, my friends? Welcome to today's video. Were you guys shocked to see a what's for dinner video from me today? I was kind of shocked that I was able to produce one because it's so rough cooking in this house these days. Oh my goodness. I've got 4 meals that we enjoyed here in our house this past couple of weeks, and I want to share them with you guys. I will leave them linked down in my description box below, but let's go on ahead and get into today's video. The first meal that we are jumping into today is the best pot roast on the planet, and I can vouch for that. I thought it was pretty good myself. Got 2.5 pound chuck pot roast here that I'm popping into my crock pot, as well as a 1.5 cups of water. And this recipe is really odd. I've never seen anything like this before, but you use these 3 packets of these mixes: Italian dressing, ranch dressing, and a brown gravy mix. And you go ahead and get those in a bowl and get them mixed up before we put them into the crock pot. Cooking around my house, like I said, is such a chore these days because there are little children down at my feet all of the time, and I have to be careful not to trip over them. Here I'm going to go ahead and toss these mixes just right on top of my roast, and we are going to put the lid on, and we're going to cook this on low for about 5 hours or so, depending on the thickness of your roast. Now, watch this. Boom! If only it were that easy. All right, the roast has been on for about 5 hours or so. I come back and check on it, and it looked divine. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add on the veggies and get those cooking. We are going to put those in there for about 2 or 3 hours on low. Just kind of keep an eye on it. Come back and check your potatoes and your carrots. You know, those are always the things that take forever to cook. And I'm just going to try to lift up my roast a little bit, kind of get, you know, things moving around a little bit in there, not so layered, I guess. And you guys, I was very, very impressed with this recipe. I will definitely be making this again. Let me know if you've ever used these packets to make your pot roast. I just thought that was so interesting, so that's why I wanted to try it. And it turned out delicious. Jumping into our next meal, this is garlic steak and potato skillet. And you guys, we had this a couple of times, and holy shamboli, it was so good. So we're going to start out with making the marinade for the meat first. This is 1/3 cup of soy sauce, a tablespoon of olive oil, and I realize I'm dripping some there, but it's okay. More the better, right? We've got a tablespoon of hot sauce of any kind. The recipe recommends sriracha, but use whatever you want. And then we're going to throw in some fresh cracked pepper. I'm going to go ahead and incorporate those ingredients really well and set them aside for just a moment because I'm using flank steak or a strip steak here, but normally it comes in strips, but for some reason or another Walmart didn't have strips this day that I went to go get them, and so I'm having to cut it up. No big deal. It just took me just a second, and then as you see, I'm going to go ahead and throw the meat in the marinade. We're going to put the lid on that, and we're going to sit that aside until we are ready for it in just a couple of minutes. Again, if it were only that easy. I've got 2 bags of those small baby potatoes there, by the way. We're going to put in a tablespoon of olive oil and a tablespoon and a half of butter, I believe, and let that melt. We're going to go ahead and we're going to brown these potatoes a little bit, get them a little soft, you know, brown them on the sides and things like that. I did go ahead and put a piece of tinfoil over this so it help them kind of cook a little bit faster. That's what that tinfoil piece is right there. Because I don't have a lid for that big old skillet. So once those potatoes are done, I'm gonna go ahead and set them over there on that tinfoil, because why waste that? Use it for something else, right? And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna saute up our minced garlic with the other 1.5 teaspoon of butter. And here I'm gonna go ahead and add in just a couple of flakes of red pepper, and then also in this mixture I've got a teaspoon of thyme, a teaspoon of rosemary, a teaspoon of oregano, and salt and pepper. And we're just going to go ahead and get these ingredients all incorporated together. All right, that steak's been marinating for quite a little while now, so we're going to go ahead and put it in the pan along with all of those other delicious smelling ingredients, and we're going to get these steak pieces cooked up. I try to put them in like where they would cook evenly, but when you got so much food, you just can't. It just don't happen. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and add in what are these? Potatoes. This is great. Back to the pan, and we're just going to get all of this stuff mixed together, incorporated. And there it is. There's a lot of little ingredients in this one. It took a minute for this, guys, but I'm going to tell you what, the payoff is so worth it. This is delicious. Let me know if you make it. All right, guys, tonight for dinner we're having Mama's chicken and rice casserole. I found this originally on Pinterest, but it is an all recipes recipe, so I will link it down below for you guys. But look how simple the ingredients are. Okay, we've got about 3 breasts worth of chicken cut into cubes, 2 cups of rice that I'm fixing to rinse here in just a second. I've got a stick of butter. I've got 1 can of cream of chicken soup. I've got 1 can of cream of mushroom soup, and 1 can of cream of celery soup, salt and pepper, and 2 cups of water. Okay, so I've already started preheating my oven to 400 degrees, and we are going to throw on some lubrication here. This is avocado oil spray that I got from Aldi. So the first step is we're going to go ahead and put some ingredients in here and get them all mixed up. We're going to put our chicken in. We're going to put in our 2 cups of water. And here is my 2 cups of rice that I have. I'm throwing water everywhere. That I've rinsed. So we're just going to sprinkle that around, even though we're going to be mixing it here in a minute anyway. No big deal. And next we're going to go ahead and add all 3 cans of our cream of soups. Are you hitting me, sissy? That's not nice. Yeah. Let me see that. Now we are to incorporate these ingredients and get them all mixed together. Without making a mess. That's the most important part. I'm trusting the process here. I just feel like this is a lot of liquid for such a small amount of rice. But okay. We're going to trust the process. The last thing it says to do is to season with salt and pepper. Now we're just going to give it a good little, because those soups are probably pretty salty by themselves. And I'm just going to give it another little toss. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this whole stick of butter, we're going to cut it into little pats, And we're going to put it on top of the casserole. All right. Alright, so let's go ahead and throw her in there. Trying to get past you guys on the, the tripod. Sorry. Alright, we'll see you guys back in just a little while. And for our sides for this night, I went ahead and pulled these Brussels sprouts with bacon and butter sauce out of my freezer. I got these at Sam's Club and they are absolutely delicious. Just throw them out on a pan and put them in the oven and they're ready. They're really good. If you can get them, get them. All right, I just pulled this out of the oven and it was really like liquidy. It scared me for a second, but I mixed it up, which was not in the instructions. But it seems like it's a little bit more of a better consistency now. So I've also got some Brussels sprouts here, which I showed you guys just a few minutes ago. We're just waiting on the bread to get done and then we'll be ready to eat. All right, here is the final result. I made this plate for Jeff. But the Brussels sprouts smell delicious. I don't know how long they're going to have those at Sam's Club, but I'm going to see if they've got them when I go back. But I'll leave here on the screen what we think about it. What's up, you guys? Tonight for dinner, we're going to be having slow cooker, sausage, and potato casserole. Currently, it is 12:45, so I'm going to go ahead and get this on because it takes a couple of hours just to kind of meld the flavors and things like that together. So we're going to get dinner going in the crock pot, which means no hustle and bustle at actual dinner time. So I want to show you guys the ingredients before we get into putting it into the crock pot. We've got a 32-ounce bag of southern hash browns here. These are the ones without the onions and peppers and stuff in them. I imagine if your family likes that, you could probably use that instead. I've got 2 of these butterball turkey sausages here. The recipe only calls for 14 ounces of 14 ounces of kielbasa cut into small pieces. But we like these, and I'm probably going to go ahead, honestly, I'm going to put them in a pan really quick and brown them, as well as I'm going to go ahead and saute the onions for this recipe. I just feel like it would take it up a notch, so, and I'm all about taking up a notch. So, need a half a cup of sour cream, 1 can of cream of chicken soup, 2 cups of cheese. I picked mild cheddar. You can pick whatever you want. The recipe calls for mild cheddar. And salt and pepper. Okay, my pan's been heating up for just a few minutes. I did have some diced onion that I saved in my freezer, so I'm pulling that out to saute that. We're going to put all this in a pan together and just get it all nice and toasty and sauteed. While the sausage and the onion are browning up in the pan across the kitchen here, I'm going to go ahead and mix together the 1/2 cup of sour cream and the 1 can of cream of chicken soup and the salt and pepper. And the instructions do not give a specific amount on salt and pepper, so that's a measure with your heart kind of situation, I guess. But be careful because cream of chicken already has salt in it. And we love some pepper. Alright, we're going to mix this up and set this aside because we will need it in just a few minutes. Alright, well, it looks good. And just a note, you can totally skip this step and just add these ingredients directly to the crock pot with the cheese and the hash browns. But I kind of wanted to give them a head start a little bit, I guess, because it's already 1 o'clock and, you know. Okay, so I overcooked some of these because my 4-year-old, that middle child, went missing. I had to go look for him. What is my life? Alright, so we've got all of the onion and the sausage added. Next, we're going to add in our hash browns and cheese. I've already showed you guys, but I got this bag of southern hash browns without the peppers and onions in it, because heaven forbid an onion be in there. More than necessary. And we're going to go ahead and add this whole bag of mob cheddar. And we are going to mix this up. I'm going to come over to this side because I'm right-handed. Let's just see if we can do this without making a gigantic mess. If your family likes meat, I definitely would recommend using 2 packs of that turkey sausage like I'm doing instead of just 1 pack like the recipe calls for, because 1 pack would definitely not have been enough for my crowd. That's looking pretty good. The last, well, almost last step is we're going to put the sour cream and the cream of chicken mixture, salt and pepper, on top of this. Okay, we're going to go ahead and also combine this. And I figured we'd just be leaving it on top to cook into it, but we better do as it says. I don't want to be responsible for messing up a recipe. Alright, and then the last thing it says is to top with cheese and get it to cooking. So I'm just going to go find some cheese in my refrigerator. BRB. Copy Jack. Why not? Alright. I'm going to cook this on low for 6 hours, so see you guys in just a little bit. Alright, it's 5:30. Dinner is done. Looking scrumptious. And I've already taste tested it. It is delicious. Yes. So excited to get into this. I just want to say this meal was so filling and just warm. It'll be perfect on a nice cold day. Definitely try this one out, guys. Thank y'all so much for being here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you are new. We would love to have you. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, y'all.